Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Jared, and today we're going to kind of go through some of the stocks and see what kind of market updates are going on and just kind of have a couple of discussions. It's going to be the weekly video at the end of the week covering all the stocks that I have as a buy. I know I had posted a video on Thursday. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch that. If you gain any kind of knowledge or you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, hit subscribe, so that way you can catch uh, weekly updates. And one of the next videos I plan on doing is actually going to be cryptocurrency and why there's value in cryptocurrency and how to not get caught up in pump and dump schemes. So we're going to get right into it. Today is focusing on the stock market and the stocks that I'm still buying. Or have already bought and what I'm doing with them. Any stocks that I make any kind of moves on, I'm gonna update weekly for you guys and discuss why and what I'm looking at to be able to make the call to make those moves and adjust my own investment portfolio. We're going to start with ConocoPhillips. Quick, easy one. Still kind of moving up. It's a little company right now. I'm just keep increasing my stop loss. I'm chasing after it slowly. So in reality, my stop loss is around that 170, 127 mark, as you can see right in here where my mouse is moving. So that way, if we do come back down a little bit, I don't get stop lossed out immediately. And just in case there's any more profit to be able to take, it's not a company I plan on holding 5 years in the future from today. Unless something drastically changes, I would much rather have a Chevron or Exxon or something along those lines. But ConocoPhillips, I believe, is going to do very well right now. And they have been doing very well. It's still up 55 cents on Friday, and it's just chugging along. I originally bought in at $99. I had a video on that, and so each share for 40 bucks made, right? Or close to. Uh, we're going to move into Amazon. Amazon was down again, and a lot of these stocks were actually in that Wednesday video. I did have a call out that I assumed that the market was going to continue crashing and it wasn't going to have any kind of upside unless something in the news drastically made a change. You know, the war is over, the Strait is back open. Um, Fed rate cut. I don't know how that could happen. They're definitely making it sound hawkish right now, and that they're not going to be doing any kind of Fed rate cuts. They're actually probably going to increase, and that's not going to be good for investors, but potentially good to fight inflation, and that's the whole idea for them. All right, Amazon down $8.20 on Friday, almost 4%. What is kind of going on with Amazon? There's a few things. Mostly it's going to be the energy related and what's going on with the Strait and the war and chips and all that kind of stuff. We got to take into consideration, and I actually got it in here. I can talk about it real quick because it does matter. SMCI, Supermicro Computer, getting served and going to court over what its co-founder and a couple of the higher ups did, smuggling the chips to China. That's never a good thing, right? China, we don't like that. You got to follow the laws, got to follow rules, make it a fair game for everybody. And they did not do that, and now they are going to be getting punished. Now, is the company going to go under? I don't think so. I think they're going to be around for a bit. I think they're going to fight back and potentially even get bought out. That's always going to be something as well. If their stock price drops low enough, why not, right? The other company that I can potentially see getting bought out is going to be PayPal. And with the Netflix, Paramount, Warner Brothers thing going on right now, there's actually Warner Brothers stockholders are actually starting to get concerned that the deal is going to get backed out of by Paramount. after Netflix already backed out. So the prices is actually a little lower than what the going price is by about $4 to $5. Um, that kind of stuff happens. You just gotta do your own research and make sure you're making a call and hold out for whatever your risk tolerance is. So SMCI, I don't think they're going under, but definitely with the chip sales going on, any of these tech companies, they're gonna get hurt by the that news. You got people not following the rules. How many of these companies actually have a vested interest in SMCI or buy their parts, whatever it is, their memory, and it's just it's going to cause fear, right? A lot of these companies are going to hurt in the short term because of it, unless they can bounce back. All right, and down here, I am a owner. I do own 12 Amazon shares. I know that's not a ton. My current value is down quite a bit, but I have some call options out. That's why my value is actually higher than what it looks like, I guess. And then it's 2.3% of my portfolio. I do plan on increasing my actual Amazon shares. Right now is a good time to be buying the actual shares at a good value instead of the speculative call option. I was buying the call option when I thought there was going to be a bounce. The bounce didn't really necessarily happen. And also, the Amazon chip unit director departs. I made mention of that on Thursday, saying that it was going to negatively affect the share price more than likely, unless there was some good news that can overcome it. And we're going to take a look at that share price right now. It is Amazon, and we're down below this resistance quite heavily. We're actually encroaching on this lower resistance at 184.44. We got a little ways to go to be able to get down there. But right now, in between these two resistances, I see it being a great opportunity to buy. And I do plan on buying actual shares of Amazon and upping my portfolio and then let my call options play out. If we hit this upper resistance, my call options will all go positive. I'll probably start selling off here and there at a profit just to convert that profit pretty much straight into Amazon shares, depending on what the pricing's at, or put it into another great value company at a great value. All right, Amazon or Meta, moving into Meta. They're down another 21.82, another 4%. They are taking a beating in these past couple of days. And one of the biggest reasons why is that Middle East, the court, the trial that they lost about the young minors using the app and toughening up the rules and getting sued. And like I said in the previous video, it's going to open up the floodgates for them. Once there's precedent that they're doing something wrong, anybody who was affected by it is going to be able to jump on board and going to be able to sue as well. So you can see right back in here is when all that was announced, and you had a couple major drops. This is just the past 2 trading days. Went right around from 600 down 70 to $80 from 2 to 3 days ago. To me, we got that resistance line, 516.52. It's a good time to buy. I was calling out buying back here when we were in the low 600s, and I bought. I wish I would have sold at the 7. I started setting a stop loss, and I was like, nah, I can't do it yet. But that's why you gotta stick true to your trading, um, your rules. You gotta set rules. You gotta know exactly what you want to do, when you want to get in, when you want to get out. And I should have got out because I've been enjoying that whole ride down. But I still think it's a great time to buy. I'm not in Meta to day trade it. I'm in for the long haul on Meta. I'm talking 2 to 5 years in Meta. I do think they are going to be $1,000 company. So right now, if you bought even on Friday, or if it continues going down slightly, you're looking at being able to almost double up your money, which is just fantastic to see. At least that's what I'm believing. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. All right. So Salesforce, CRM, uh, they deployed the artificial intelligence system for U.S. Labor Department, Veterans Health Administration. So these SaaS companies, there's a lot of stuff going around about SaaS. Adobe, ServiceNow, Intuit, Salesforce, Microsoft's even kind of included in it because they do have subscription based models, and they keep looking like they're about to rebound, and then they keep on crashing. So CRM is one of my biggest holdings right now. I do see a lot more potential from CRM, Salesforce. I think they're gonna have some of the stronger books when it comes to it, especially on the AI side. So if people are trying to look to get slightly out of SaaS but stay in the AI, I think CRM is exactly where they're gonna go. They're already starting to prove it, and that's the whole point of that. We're right down this bottom support 176.28. It's a great time buy. If we drop down below that, I'm gonna go right back to what I said in the other video. What are you doing if you're not investing in it? I'm starting to invest heavy. I see a lot of potential from them. They'll stay one of my top holdings. Hopefully they do well. It'd be great to see. And we're going to get into one I haven't really talked about before. I did invest into it previously, I think about a year ago or so, and I made some money and I ended up selling out. Fortunately, I did because it ended up coming down. Now, I didn't get to see the $22 mark. I ended up selling, I think, at like 14, 15, somewhere in there. But I also was buying in at 8 or 9. So I about doubled my money and then I ended up selling, which, we're here to make money in the long run. And so having some short sales, especially if it's not a company you're passionate about, something along those lines, make sure you're pulling your profits. That's all I can say with that. But I did want to show SoundHound AI. I am reinvesting into it. It's at a great valuation for me, and I'm just want to show you the annual net income. So 2022 they started 31 mil, 46, 85, and then 169. They're starting to make a pretty good headway. Their net income, you can see, was significantly lower in 2024 and almost positive in 2025. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. They do have cash on hand, a little bit lower this year or last quarter, and they did have positive net cash flow, but they are investing quite heavily in operation costs and everything. So with SoundHound, where am I looking to buy? The lower resistance is going to be that 482 and upper resistance 1128. So pretty much anywhere under 7 to $8, I think you're getting a heck of a deal if you are buying. I do see them bouncing back to maybe not the 20s, but 15, $16 a share. I could definitely see that this coming up year as long as the market doesn't continue its downward trajectory, which it seems like it is, especially with the oil and the energy that people are starting to call a crisis right now. It's a war. Once the strait opens up, you're gonna have long term negative effects of the strait being closed, let alone this long, because they're still backing up more and more boats. Those boats are all using fuel, and it's just it compounds negatively, right? So it's going to take months, not days, months to settle, if not even into years. Um, I started driving back in 2010, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. And when I first started driving, fuel here in Michigan was like 4.17 a gallon. That was what I started driving at. So yeah, when it was down to 2.50, I was like, "Oh man, this is a heck of a deal." I'm getting this is great comparatively, right? And then a lot of the older folks are, "Oh, I remember when it used to be under $1." It's like I don't think I've ever seen that. So it's never going to go back to what it was. Is essentially what I'm saying. Costs don't go back down. When's the last time you went to McDonald's and you're able to get a McDouble for $1? It's not going to go back there. Now you can do the two double cheeseburgers. You get the second one for $1. That's a pretty decent deal, I guess. But you pay $3.99 for the first one. So SoundHound, what exactly does SoundHound AI do? They do voice AI recognition. When you're on the telephone and you're talking to AI robot, it's what they do. So they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be in cars. They're going to be in restaurants, speaker boxes, phones, call centers, all that good stuff. And they're going to be around for a while, I believe. And I think they're a good buying opportunity because of it. They're on an upward growth trajectory, and their valuation is very low. They hit a 52-week low as of 2 days ago. So I'm a buy. I'm gonna keep buying. I think I own like 350 shares, something like that. So it's growing. I'm getting to a point where I'm happy with my size of portfolio. All right, Microsoft, same boat as the SAS. They're getting beat up a little bit. They were down $9.20, 2.51%. And the main reason, in my opinion, is going to be around this energy, the straight, all that kind of stuff. Once that starts correcting, we may start seeing um, some rebounding on some of these stocks, especially these giant ones, because the energy affects them so much greater than it does a smaller stock. Um, all their all their buildings that they own, all the infrastructure, it costs way more to maintain, and we're almost down to our 52-week low. So to me, it's another good buying opportunity. They were a buy previously. They're a strong buy now. We just bounced off of the previous resistance that I called out, 355.67. And there is a second line of resistance, 339.65. If we break down into that channel, oh boy, am I loading up. It's going to be great things to see at that point. I know most of these are a buy. Hopefully, you got some money set to the side. DCA in. Don't blow your whole load on one stock right off the bat. Don't go into margin, especially on a downhill slide like this. Don't take and borrow money from anywhere. Take your extra money that you don't need and invest it in these companies. Adobe keeps getting downgraded, and they're just getting massacred. Down another $6.04, 251 per 2.51% is what they're down, and they're right on that resistance, 233.79. Hopefully, we can see some kind of life back from Adobe. It'd be great, but if we do end up breaking down into this channel, once again, back up the truck, start loading it up. Um, it, it's not going anywhere. They got AI being built into it. This AI SaaS deal, I still just make it make sense is the kicker. Are these companies going to be able to utilize AI and actually reduce their operating costs and increase their profit margins? Absolutely. Is it going to cost some jobs? Absolutely. Are they going to be making less money? I don't think so. I do not believe that one bit, not in the short term. And the short term on these stocks, I'm talking 1 to 2 years. They still got a lot of proving to do that the business model and everything is still achievable and working. However, they they're utilizing AI just like everybody else. They're getting built into AI unlike everybody else. So if all of a sudden you got ads going into OpenAI, which I talked about in the previous videos, so if you want, go back watch that. It's pretty comical comparison in my opinion, at least to me. So sense of humor, everybody's is different, but they're getting built in, and they're going to start having ads. And if they're utilizing Adobe Salesforce inside the AI network, who do you think is also going to be getting a portion of every time it is clicked or used? They're gonna expand their revenue streams from these AI module websites. AMD, AMD chugging along. They had a massive run up, and then it just got dropped. Now, I will say from the sell the buy the rumor, sell the news perspective, there is something kind of going on that I'm noticing that it is what it is, but you gotta stay up on everything to be able to make sure that you're actually following and doing your own research right. So in my research, it's coming to find out that these companies are great. AMD, Nvidia, I think AMD has a lot of growth ahead of it, like huge growth opportunity coming up here in the next couple years. Nvidia already had a ton of growth, but they're still going to have unbelievable profits and revenue. Um, the growth is going to start dwindling. But where I'm going with all that is pure competition. These chips. Tesla's going to start making their own chips. They're going to make more than enough to be able to supply themselves and sell to others. You got Intel making chips. You got everybody's going to start making these chips. The bottleneck is going to move. And when I say that is every time a section of the market or the economy is a massive boom, there's going to be a bottleneck. Right now, the bottleneck is actually that straight with the oil and the energy crisis and all that going on. That is a massive bottleneck. Well, guess what? They're going to correct it. And normally, when they correct, they overcorrect, which oversaturates the market. It's hard to pinpoint we need exactly this many chips to be able to supply the market, no more, no less. They do it with gold, with the reserves, releasing how much gold. Um, Diamonds, that's a well known about one. They have millions of diamonds in storage that they're essentially controlling the price, right? Supply and demand. You have all these companies saying that they're going to produce their own chips, which is going to cause a flood to the market because they're no longer going to be buying from AMD or Nvidia. They're going to produce their own in house. They're going to sell their surplus. It's going to saturate the market. So I do see a huge amount of growth in AMD. I just don't know if I'm in it for the 10 years. Um, they only really, I mean, some of these companies only really do one thing. That's where like Amazon does a little bit of everything. They're going to be around 10 years from now. AMD will be around. I'm not saying that, or I believe they will be around. I just don't know if it's going to be as heavily reliant on chips. Now, the depreciating aspect and constantly coming out with new ones, if they stay top of the game, ahead of the pack, if you would say, then absolutely they're going to have a tremendous amount of value far into the future. But I know these chips can get kind of built to be really good at one thing and not really good at others. So you just got to make sure that you have all of them available that are needed at any given time so people don't have to keep making their own, which is exactly what they're trying to do right now. All right. Now I'm going to go into two speculative stocks that I'm currently investing in. That they can go either way. I see some potential value in it. Of course, last April you could have bought this one at 260, and it's currently at $10, high of 26.90. So we already missed out on a 10x there that hopefully some people caught. Realloys. So realloys was just all over in the news. They got a grant, or they're getting funding from the United States government. I think it was like $50 million, something like that, to start building a rare metal facility in Ohio. And they have a new way, not using hydrochloric acid or something like that, to be able to process and refine some of these metals. And they produce like 17 different rare earths, and like six of them, they're the only ones that are going to be able to do it outside of China, which is great. I actually see a lot of value in um, us being able to use US manufactured and made goods, it's going to take some time. It's not like everything's going full blown right now. Um, However, being a construction worker that has dealt with the military kind of deal, they they're always going to prefer you to buy US. That's kind of one of those things. They're going to want that. They're willing to pay extra. So, with that being said, I see a lot of potential from them, government, military contracts wise. They're going to have a lot of contracts being built up. Now, are they going to pay anytime soon? I don't know. That's why it's speculative. We're talking it could be very, very far out there. I was buying when it went down below $15 a share, so I am still DCAing in, and I'm going to be until I figure out exactly where I believe they are going. I don't think they're going to go much below, $6 to $7. I do see them hovering around 12 to $13, somewhere in that range for a little while until they actually start to see some of these contracts rolling in. All right, Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab's down $5, down 7.6%. Um, you're looking at they had a high of almost $100. Oh, right there, 99.58. That's fantastic. They were down a low of 1471, so almost a 8x or 7 to 8x, somewhere in that range. If you bought at the low and went at the high, that's almost impossible to do. So don't anticipate that you can do it, or you can do it consistently. You can definitely do it once or twice, but consistency is the downfall of that. They just broke down below this resistance, which was pretty key resistance. I think a part of the reason is going to be that IPO, SpaceX. When they IPO Elon Musk and they become trillions of dollar company, whatever it is, they're going to be the largest IPO that has ever happened. I think Rocket Lab is going to benefit from the space race and the rockets, obviously. They're going to suffer because of the IPO. I think there's going to be so much focus on it. Now, maybe it'll bring and draw some attention to them, but I do see them going down, in which case I'm going to be buying when it's going down. It's good opportunity for the long run. They've already had, I think they just launched their 85th or 86th successful rocket launch, and they're supplying to Europe, they're supplying to NASA. It's not like they're a one trick pony that they're only going to be selling to one company or manufacturing for their own company. They're going to be selling across the board, and they're proving themselves to be very successful. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, hit subscribe for more videos. I got a bunch of videos I've already posted. Some are more educational than others. Some are just talking stocks. Once again, I am going to start getting into the crypto side. I think it's about time because crypto market's kind of down right now as well. So good opportunity. Start buying some of those and knowing which ones to buy. Until the next one, have a good one and see you in the next one.